Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Bucket.
So
What up?
guys. How's it going? We've only got 11 million things to talk about today.
Right. So answer that question quickly. Pretty good. There you go.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
good.
What have
Yep.
you been playing this week? Let's talk about that and then let's go.
Video games.
Okay. I have played Total War Warhammer, of course. Same thing as usual. Last week, I don't remember what I streamed. Oh, yeah, I played Fallout 76 with Baka and Grif. It's
I
pretty
found
good.
a bathing suit in the game, not in real life.
And a clown
I
hat.
was wearing wood.
Yeah. I had wooden armor too. You just couldn't see it because my bathing suit takes precedence over showing off armor, I guess. I don't know.
Makes you look fancy.
I had a clown hat and a bandana. I looked like a scary axe murderer.
You
were
really
a
did with that
scary
hair
X-Men.
color and everything else?
It was
Yes.
pink hair.
We killed another player.
Hey, they were wanted.
Yeah, they were wanted. And they came into our building, and we killed them.
Yeah.
Yep, so.
That's what happens.
Shot him with the shotgun.
Yep.
I cut him with a sickle.
But that's all I played. It was a lot of news week, and I've just played the same things for the whole week, so. Not much from me.
I played Surviving Mars in addition to the Fallout 76 I played with Chicken. That was pretty much it. My colonies are going great, you guys.
Didn't do much else other than the 76, and then I started playing Ninja Turtles on the NES.
Oh, nice.
The second one.
For like
Oh,
the 11
classic.
billionth time.
Hey, don't judge.
No, I'm not
11
judging him.
millionth time?
I do the
Yeah, I
same
know,
thing.
right?
That's
do
his
the
Paper
same
Mario.
Yeah.
His Paper Mario. I played, of course, Dauntless. I played some more of it. Played Sea of Thieves. Finally finished all the Tall Tales. Highly recommend. Y'all need to go back into it. It's brilliant on the way that it ends. And I want more of it. Like, I want them to tell me more story. Please give me more lore. Give me more things to do. I just think it's so much fun. And then this morning, I started Final Fantasy 15.
Oh,
So-
he started Final Fantasy 15, so he'll play it like twice more and then we won't hear about it ever again, just like Red Dead.
Oh, well, Red Dead I was streaming before. And so I need to go back to that one anyway. But Final Fantasy 15, actually I'm enjoying it more than I do Red Dead. So
It's a lot more action oriented.
I think there's
I think
different
so.
levels of enjoyment.
I think it's that, and I think it's, but I also, there's so much dialogue when it comes to Red Dead, like in the parts when you're with the groups and all that stuff. It's so slow in between where you're just riding in a car if they're having a conversation in here, or you're running around with your friends killing shit and they're talking to you that way, which I think is more entertaining. But not that I don't like Red Dead, the parts that I played, but it's just, this one's more interesting to me. But it's probably because it's fantasy world too, versus Old West, but you know, that type of thing. But I think it's good so far, for sure. All right,
Cool.
News, go.
A lot of news because we have the leftovers of E3 that we didn't get to cover in last week's show because they hadn't happened yet. So we've got
If I
plenty
say
of
leftovers,
stuff. Yeah, I mean by now they're leftovers, but last
You mean-
week it was content
confirmed
that
rumors. Confirmed rumors is what we got now. We just had rumors before.
Yes.
I just noticed you were wearing the shirt. I got you.
happened. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a kitty.
It says "Don't touch."
Yeah, you can't see that part because it's too low on the shirt.
Nope.
So. All right. So what do we want to talk about first? Because there's a lot of stuff, and
I
most
think
of
we
it's
start with
good.
Xbox, right?
Okay.
Xbox. They were the first one to go last Sunday. Of course, I think everybody's heard the news that big old Keanu Reeves walked through the door.
That was fucking amazing. Watching that live was fucking amazing. That was pretty damn amazing. And if you didn't watch it, I'm sorry, but it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, but there's a thing called YouTube that you can go back and watch the whole thing if you would like to.
Yeah, I guess.
It's still pretty freaking cool. Anytime you have a guy go cyberpunk, every time he turns around, it's just great. And it's Keanu. I mean, it's one of those where, it's, to me, when I first saw him he was Ted, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and we've grown up. All of us have grown up with him in different types of movies, and he's kind of a walking meme nowadays, but
but he's a good one though.
Yes, he's
a
good
walking
meme.
good meme. Yeah,
Feels
he's a
good
walking
meme.
Yep. So
He's going to be in
I think,
Cyberpunk 2077, which is going to be amazing. And now I just need to know if I can romance him. Because, I mean, I was
Probably
already
not.
going to play the game. Now I'll just, you know.
To be 100% honest, a lot of people are feeling that same way, and personally, I don't think you'll be able to.
I don't think.
I think he's
I
going to
think
be
you're
like
right,
the main
but-
character that'll kind of be your kind of mentor who's going to help you through this whole thing, and then everybody else will be up for free game. But he's like that legendary statue you can just stare at, but you can't touch.
I think that
No-
you're
no
probably
touching.
right about that, but
No touching.
he's gonna be to that game what Varric is in the Dragon Age series, where you're like, can I romance that guy? He's like an amazing character. Why can I? Okay, fine. I'll just take him everywhere with me instead.
But Cyberpunk looks really good. I think the footage that they showed off made it look like I was already kind of pumped for it. This really made me pumped for it.
It's like April next year, isn't it?
April
Yes.
17th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You know, spring 2020, which is going to be everything on the planet's coming out then.
Yes, lots
So-
of games coming out then. But I think I think it's not a bad thing. To have that many games coming out. It's good for the industry.
It's bad for me. I'm busy. I can't play that many.
Yeah,
Well,
I understand.
Honestly, I think it'd be bad because it's everyone's competing at the same time.
Oh, that's true.
So people are going to be having to like, okay, well, I can only put forward one of these like 20 games. This is the game I'm getting.
Well, I think that they're going to move them around. That's what happened this past time. Because remember, we had 4 games that were supposed to be releasing on like February 22nd of this year, and then 2 of them moved their days to later, and then one moved earlier. And to be fair, I think that was a good decision on everybody's part. And I think it was funny because I think it was Anthem they were trying to get away from, and that seems to do the worst out of the ones that were released that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be. I think it'd be interesting to see how that ends up. One of the ones that we had kind of touched on as a rumor was a George R.R. Martin collaboration along with the guys that did Dark Souls series. And I am very excited about this, and I didn't think I was going to be.
I'm extremely interested in this thing. Ooh.
Because the trailer tells you basically nothing, but it's really awesome to watch. It's really awesome to watch. I'm like, okay, if this is the world they're creating, I'm cool with this. So I think that one's pretty cool. I think overall, that one probably was my least favorite out of. I'm trying to think anyway.
It's my least
At least-
favorite. It's garbage.
It was my least favorite out of the ones that he had announced, but I still was very interested in it. Like, I even liked they did one for Minecraft. It was like a Minecraft dungeon crawler that they've created. It's a totally separate game and I'm like, I would play that. Me and my friends going through doing dungeon crawling in Minecraft world. I think that's cool. I don't like Minecraft, but that makes me want to play Minecraft.
You'll have WoW Classic here in just a little bit. You can do the same exact thing, and it looks exactly the same.
I'm calling it
Wow.
now. He'll reach level 10 and then he'll stop.
Shots fired, man. Shots fired. That's funny.
Or he'll get to Deadmines and see how the old school dungeons are run, and he'll be like, they got that.
They got that.
Let's see. You had Evil Within Studio. It was come out with a new one called Ghostwire Tokyo, which looks really interesting.
Oh, I want to know more.
And basically, people are mysteriously disappearing in the Tokyo area, and your job is to figure out what's going on. And I think that's pretty neat.
I wish we had more. I want to know
I know,
more.
it
Just
looks
a damn
cool.
teaser.
Well, that's what a teaser does. It leads you one.
Yeah, I know.
right? And you know that Evil Within is good. Like, Evil Within and Evil Within 2 is fantastic.
Which means it's going to be stealth gameplay probably, which means I'll be terrible at it, but it looks so cool.
Maybe. It seems like some companies are trying to branch out, kind of feel different genres, and try a different style build. Like From Software's Elden Ring, it's totally different. And apparently, from what I read in the comments, their last 5 games are totally different IPs. Like all 5 of them are just new.
That's good.
Yes.
That's definitely good that they're doing that because they can build, what they want. The other one is, the game that we knew was coming out. We just didn't know when it was coming out. It's coming out in October. It's going to be Outer Worlds. This is the big fuck you from Microsoft to Epic, because everybody was like, shit, this is going to be an Epic exclusive, and no, Microsoft owns this particular developer, so they went, it's going to be on our Game Pass, and guess what? We have PC and Xbox Game Passes now. They let us know the prices that on that, and the announcement for that is pretty awesome too. Yeah. If you haven't gotten it yet, and you have a PC and you have an Xbox, get it. It's actually cheaper than buying your subscription for Xbox Live and buying one of those separate. To just go ahead and get the whole thing. So I did the math on it. It's quite nice, and you get both. So if you've got both, you can play on both. It's pretty awesome. And so Outer Worlds is coming out. I think it looks really good. I like the environment. It looks like the characters are going to be designed really well.
I think that this is going to fill the hole that Borderlands 3 would have, but I am no longer interested in Borderlands. So I think that Outer Worlds is going to fill that like quirky, funny, RPG-ish shooter.
It kind of reminds me of that, to be honest. Like the shots they were showing of it, the color schemes they got on there, and you don't get Claptrap, which is even better. Not that it mattered. It wouldn't really been Claptrap.
Yeah, so. I was going to say, does it matter as much if it's not real Claptrap?
Maybe.
Well, what they could have done is get the original voice actor for Claptrap to come in and voice it.
That would have been hilarious.
Holy shit.
That'd been so good.
I do still
think
just
that know it ahead of time.
It does suck a little bit that they went Epic exclusive for their PC stuff, except for Microsoft.
Well, it's because Microsoft was like, no, you can't. We own you. You can't do that to us.
I feel like at this point, devs should understand that taking the Epic Store money is a bad idea, but nobody seems to understand that. So, we've got another
they'll figure it out.
News story later related. But
we also got an announcement that, if you remember last year at E3, Microsoft came out and said, we've bought 5 studios. Of course, Obsidian, which is the one that just did Outer Worlds, is one of those. They've bought several others at the same time. And Psychonauts 2 developer Double Fine got bought this year too, and that was the new announcement on it. Tim Schafer, who is just in the industry, is an absolute icon when it comes to creating very strange and interesting games and thinking of games in a new way. I'm a big fan of him, and to see him come out, it was typical Tim being funny, saying, if you need us to, help out, we can build Excel, we can build Halo games, we can help you out with this. Because I think we got they're like, I think I got those good. I was totally lying. I couldn't do any of that. It's great. If you want funny, humorous games, that's what Psychonauts, that's what Double Fine does. They create really, really good games that are just fun. And so we got a trailer for Psychonauts 2 that went along with that, and I thought that was pretty awesome as well. So I don't know how you all felt about Double Fine being purchased, but I thought that was a good buy for them because it's so well known.
Yeah, Microsoft's investment in these smaller studios has been pretty good. Like they don't seem to be doing what Epic does, is buy them up and be like, you're exclusive now.
Well,
it's like, here, we'll help you out. And
some of the concerns in the comments were, will Psychonauts 2 still come to PS4? Because part of it was crowdfunded, and that was one of the options was, where do you want your copy sent to in PlayStation? Mm-hmm. So I think Microsoft has done pretty well in the past and will continue to do well with upholding previous commitments. So I don't think that that's a concern. I'm sure it'll still come to...
I do not foresee them backtracking on that.
Sure
especially seeing as how much games that are doing that now are getting a little backlash. They also
know they can make more money that way too.
Well, I think from it, the problem will not be on Microsoft's side. I think the problem will be on Sony's side, whether they'll allow it to happen. Which is because Microsoft even said at the very beginning of their press conference this time, we want you to be able to play our games on any platform you want to be able to play on.
Yep.
And they're pushing towards that. They're actually putting their money where their mouth is, if you will, because they're continuing to going ahead and investing and making sure that we can play where we want to play.
Yeah.
And where a lot of companies haven't. And I will have to say Sony's taken some strides recently, and they've allowed for some cross-platform play that we didn't think was going to be a thing. But they didn't like it when Minecraft got purchased and it was already on their system.
Yeah.
And so I'll be interested to see with one that's not. And are you going to be able to play it? Well, maybe. Maybe not. So we'll just kind of have to see on that one. We did get, speaking of being able to play anywhere, one of the things that they did announce as well is their xCloud, which is their game streaming system that they're trying to build, which is going to be similar to Netflix. Now, this is going to be
what everybody's
different.
doing right now.
Yeah, this will actually come out. Is scheduled to come out a month before Stadia does, and is going to be free versus I think $130 for Stadia. So it's already built into their system. So as long as you have Game Pass, you're capable of having this. And it is set up very similar to Stadia, except instead of just using their xCloud system, you can actually use your home Xbox as a way to being able to put that to whatever system you want to play on. So we're just it's going to be interesting as we get more information as it gets closer to October when it kind of goes in its beta form then, how that's going to be formed. But I think it's awesome that everything's moving this way because we get to game how we want the game. Now you're going to have good internet service.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just wish ISPs would catch up.
Right?
Like, the technology
Wouldn't that
is
be
there.
nice?
We're moving forward with all of that stuff. It's just ISPs are holding
We
things
need
back.
fiber everywhere. At this point, with as ambitious as all these companies are starting to become, you got to give us fiber everywhere.
Well, but here's the thing: is if you go the U.S. internet is light years behind Europe's internet. Europe has a much better internet than we do, and so it's like it makes no sense to me that the U.S. can't go. And what can we do to help create better internet here?
But it's not. It's about money, though, because
Yeah,
you've
I was
got
gonna say, there's
companies
a
like
lot
Comcast that are strangling you for pennies, and they are getting away with it. So why would they offer a better service?
You don't think it's about money in Europe? Sure it is.
I'm sure it is, but I really feel like part of it's just
Yes.
motivated by that stuff.
But I don't think it's as bad.
I also think the
There as it is
infrastructure
here.
cost is a lot, and the companies here don't want to have to pay for that.
Yeah,
No, I would
we're
agree
pretty,
with that.
like we're very spread out compared to Europe. Like, I mean, you travel
That's
2
part of it,
hours,
too.
you're in like 5 different countries. You travel 2 hours, you just went next door. So
You travel 2 hours and you're halfway through a state in most cases,
yeah,
unless you're Texas, and then 2 hours is like nothing.
Well, as
Yeah.
a country, we're a little larger than the entire continent of Europe. So
So some of it's definitely infrastructure dependent too.
mm-hmm.
Our infrastructure shit. Anyway, what else we got that's not sad news? Sad news. The fact that our internet sucks is sad news. All right, shut up.
All right.
Yes.
There, for those that had bought the original Elite wireless controller, which I have 2 of them, I absolutely love my Elite controllers. I think they're fantastic, and now I'm pissed because I just got a brand new one a couple months ago, and they're going to be releasing. I think this is in October as well. They're releasing the Series 2 Xbox Elite wireless controller, and it's going to allow you to be able to adjust the tensioning on your joysticks, which I think is awesome, so you can maneuver that a little different. They're also changing up the right now it's got a switch that you can flip in order to be able to have less action on your fire button, so you can fire quicker, so you're not having to pull it all the way back. Well, they're making that to where that's a little bit more adjustable as well. And so there's some really cool stuff they've put on there. And also right now you have to where you basically switch between 2 styles of controls. So you go, okay, this is my regular style of control. That's setting 1. Here's the controller that when I'm playing, I don't know, Gears of War. So I flip that over, and that's my style of control for that. Now they're going to have it to where you have 4, I believe. So that's pretty awesome.
So
it looks
controller profiles, like you could do on certain keyboards and whatnot, where you could set up profiles based on what game you're playing.
Yeah,
It'll do it
similar.
automatically.
Yeah, it's the same thing except you're doing it inside the controller, which is pretty awesome. And Xbox has it already built into their system, into their actual settings, to where as soon as you go in, it upgrades your firmware, and then you go through and just set it, and it's good to go. I think it's brilliant that they're doing this. When you have games, you have companies that are out there, third-party companies like Scuff and things like that have been building custom pro controllers. It was great that Microsoft got involved in this. And made it a little bit more affordable, because Scuffs are expensive, and to be honest, they're kind of cheaply made for as much as they cost.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of
like everything that gets popular, like Turtle Beach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that Gears of War 5 was announced. I am not the biggest Gears fan in the world. I do want to play Gears of War, like, start to finish all the way through. Again, like, go ahead and start the first two, which are the two I've played, and then finish them on out now that I've seen the trailer for 5. How did you all feel about... Because you played 4, right?
Yeah, 4 was pretty good.
Yeah.
It
4
alright.
was
It
too
alright.
short, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a little on the short side, but it wasn't
But yeah, it
terrible.
was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
How did you feel about what they showed at 5?
They didn't show much of 5. A
Yeah.
little bit of the story.
Yeah,
And-
they showed some of the story, and then their like new multiplayer mode thing, and then the Terminator skin pack for that. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they just didn't show much, and I'm not sure if that's
Yeah.
good or bad. Like, I understand wanting to hold
You
back.
know, the
and
most
surprise,
frustrating
but-
part of that entire thing for me was... Remember last year when they teased Gears of War 5? Like, they told us that we were getting a Gears of War 5. And then they were telling us all this other stuff that we were getting. And one of them happened to be the Gears of War pop game. Remember?
Yeah.
And because we were all like, oh, that's awesome. And they're like, you'll be able to play this in the meantime. Well, now we get shown it again. And they're like, sign up for like a pre-order basically for iOS or Android. And I'm like, we were supposed to have this a year ago.
Hey,
Why
where
are
did that
you
go?
just now why are you just now giving this to me? That was the most frustrating part to me. But that game is scheduled to come out on September the 10th of this year.
Yeah, so slow season-ish. Yay.
I will be dug deep into WoW at that point.
Oh, yeah. That's
I will
true.
probably fill that in every now and then, play something different. Hell, I got more monitors. I can play 2 games at once.
The weird part about that, I think that all of us kind of went, what the fuck? Was that they showed us a skin for Terminator. And yeah, it was just, what?
Yeah, I think you said it was just for the multiplayer thing, because I was like, how does
Yeah.
that even play
Yeah.
into? Because it's not. I mean,
It's just
what-
a weird tie-in to bring in. I guess
Yeah,
the only
it
thing to
is.
figure is because you got these 2 apocalyptic style worlds is the only thing
I
I can
guess
figure.
so. I mean, as
Well,
long
Yeah,
as.
there's
yeah.
also a new Terminator movie coming out.
Well, I mean, I know it's a promotional tie-in for that and everything. It just seems like an odd choice for it to be Gears of War, because it's something that's not set, where it's like, this is Earth and the Terminators it could be the same timeline, and no, it's not though. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of strange.
I thought it was random.
Yeah.
Like,
it
as much
was-
as they're pretty good about not, taking random money for random stupid shit anymore, that one seems like random promotion money got thrown at them and they said, okay.
It almost, let me tell you what it seems like to me. It seems as though within like the next 3 years we'll end up with a Terminator game from the same studio. That's what it seems
Probably.
like to me.
Maybe.
And they'll be like, oh, remember when we teased this and y'all went crazy about it? Which they didn't. But
Yeah.
Nobody
like-
went
they went
crazy.
crazy.
It was
Everybody
like-
just went, what the fuck? That was them going, huh? What?
Yeah.
I don't know. The applause signs we can't see in the sides. Maybe. I don't know. But I feel like that's what they're leading into. Like in 2 or 3 years, we'll get an announcement for a Terminator game or something. Which I think would be cool to do a Terminator game. I just think it's a weird way to add it into what you're doing. I think it's strange. Some of the stuff I don't know a lot about, but I was kind of interested in it as well. One of the announcements they had on there in the press conference was Phantasy Star Online 2. And I don't know a whole lot about this. I think it's a Sega property.
It is.
But it looked good. I mean, it looked really good. It looked like it was fun to play. I thought it was Final Fantasy at first. when they first started the trailer and all that stuff, and I was like, were they announcing a new Final Fantasy? I'm confused by this, and then it was Phantasy Star Online 2, which makes sense, I guess, why I thought it was Final Fantasy.
Very, very, very similar. But
Yeah.
The hair is the same. I didn't.
It's that whole like JRPG style.
So evidently the game is coming to the West for the first time, but it's not confirmed. Is it confirmed that it's coming to Europe?
No,
Cannot confirm. It's
Yeah,
coming
they
to
cannot
Europe.
confirm
Yeah,
that
not
yet.
confirmed.
Yeah. So, if you're interested in those JRPG style of games that are online, there you go. You got that one. I think that one's. It looks cool.
Spring 2020. Another
Yeah,
one.
I played the shit out of Phantasy Star Online for the GameCube, I think it was. Me and my friends would just play it all the fucking time.
What's it like? Is it very Final Fantasy like in the way that it plays, or how is it?
If I'm not mistaken, it's almost like Final Fantasy 15, where it's more open combat style and not turn-based, where you kind of queue up for dungeons and then you work your way through dungeons and fight monsters, kill the boss at the end, get new loot, and you just kind of keep doing that over and over again. It was a lot of fun. I had a fucking blast playing it.
So it's kind of maybe where they get the Final Fantasy 14 idea, where they do it online all the time because it's an MMO style.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they've been looking for a way to do a MMO with Final Fantasy, which 14 is doing pretty good.
Yeah. Well, now it is. With that last expansion, now it is.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think this one will do okay too. I think there are enough interests.
All
to be work.
right. Article number 72. We've got Dying Light 2 is coming out in spring of 2020 also.
Oh my god.
Yeah, one more game coming out in spring of 2020. The original Dying Light, of course, did really well, zombie apocalypse style. I think they did a really good job of presenting what is happening now, that it's not just the zombies that are an issue, it's the humans that become the main problem in this one, which I think is neat. And a really cool concept, because I think that's the way people would actually react, which I think has been touched on in other games too, and other medium as well. But of course, if you're a fan of the first one,
which you should be, everybody should be a fan of the first one.
Should be excited. If you haven't played the first one, I recommend it.
Yeah, go back and play it.
Yes, definitely.
And this one will be a little bit different because it says that the player's actions have direct influence and impact on the world that you're playing in.
Yes, depending
so it's going to be a little different than the first one.
Yeah, like depending on who you help or who you talk to is going to change the way the world is going to evolve. Like what group A you might give them more water or help them get water, and it's going to change their area, and then it's going to take the water away from another group, and that group's going to become more aggressive because they need the water from that group. And it's super interesting on what they want to do. Dynamic worlds, I love it.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. I think it's a step further than what we get from Far Cry. Like Far Cry, I always feel like you're choosing a side, and then when you choose the side, then it basically you're just making choices throughout based on that side, and you have your final choice, but it doesn't really affect the world as much during that process. Where I think that this is designed to affect it a little bit more, and I think that's a cool thing. Brilliant. I think the two last major ones, if I'm not mistaken, are going to be Scarlet and Halo, correct?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So we knew that there's going to be a possibility of a console-like thing or a streaming thing as an option. We got both. Of course, we already talked about xCloud. And Chicken called it last week that they were going to announce Scarlet as the new console coming out, and which that is. It's Project Scarlet, which will probably
have a totally different name when it actually hits.
It'll be Xbox 2.
Definitely.
It's an Xbox 2. That's
2.
That's what they're going to do. I'm telling you now. That's the reason they changed the series is to do Xbox 2.
I really feel like they start naming them things though, because I mean, at
or
some
it'll be
point,
like something like Xbox Sky. Because it'll be like a streaming kind of service, the cloud-based Xbox.
Xbox Sky is because the cloud. Okay, I get it. That's funny.
Yeah, they call it like they want to theme it and whatnot.
Kind of dumb, but it's funny.
Because the Xbox One, they chose it because they wanted it to be your one entertainment system, right?
But they
And if
but
this
they
is
also
the-
did it because they couldn't figure out what to do if they had named 720, what they were going to do afterwards.
Well, yeah, but
So-
I mean, do you keep continually launching numbered consoles? Because then everybody's going to start comparing you to PlayStation.
Yeah, you start doing themed consoles, which is what I think they did with the One. They didn't rename it because it was One. They renamed it because of the theme of the console.
Maybe. We'll have to see. I still think it's going to be an Xbox too, but I mean, I think
I
either
think that
one.
would just be super lame.
Yeah.
Well, Sky they'll
Be
get
100%
Sky they'll get sued for, actually, believe it or not, because Sky Network is a network in the UK that does, it's a major media network, and
Yeah,
they've
but
already
that's if you
sued
call
people
it
before.
Sky Network. If you
Yeah,
call
this
it
doesn't
Xbox
matter.
Sky.
Xbox
But
Sky.
if the name is Xbox Sky, they don't have copyright on just Sky, or else you could never call anything
Yes, they
Sky.
do. They actually do. That's why they sue people.
So,
over
I
it.
mean, did
That's-
they
that's
sue,
been a
like,
number-
the Vanilla
They
Sky
sued a
movie
game
from
company.
11
They sued a
billion?
game. We covered it on the show like 2 years ago. They sued a game company over it.
I don't
So,
remember that, but I have a really short memory, so that's not
yeah.
surprising at all.
Because I thought it was dumb. Because it's like they're not even in gaming. It makes no sense to do that. But they copyright. They sue you over the Sky name. And I can't remember what game it was either. But we talked about it a couple years ago.
Anyway,
Um,
Scarlet is the code name for it at present.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it, I think, is what it's touting is it'll support up to 8K visuals, frame rates up to 120 FPS, and it's going to have backwards compatibility, and they're saying all the way back to the original Xbox that they're going to have that capability, and I'm very interested to see, because first of all, I don't think you're going to get 120 FPS right off the bat. I don't think this is going to be where unless it's coming directly from Microsoft, I don't see a game immediately having 120 FPS. I think it's something that we'll build up to eventually. It does have the Zen 2 Navi processor from AMD in it, so it's supposed to be pretty fast. And then, of course, it's got an SSD on the inside of it as well, too. And they thought their thought process is they don't want loading screens. They want to reduce the amount of loading screens as possible. I will be interested to see how that ends up. And then that leads us into what's going to be the launch title, which is Halo. Yes.
I was just going to say, depending on how big that SSD is, it's going to be an expensive ass fucking console.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody's...
this motherfucker's going to be...
Well, and you know the initial hard drive is going to be too small for whatever it is, because that's how it's been with every single one of them.
Well, yeah, because they said 1 terabyte is what they're looking at for the in the thing. So
Those games are going to take up way more.
Oh, hell yeah.
those are
You
gonna
want
take up
8K
more space.
visuals? Oh, my God. That 1 terabyte's going to be like, boom.
well, see, I don't think you're going to get 8K visuals right off the bat. I mean, how many people now
Have
people do
8K.
have 4K television, but how many people?
Have an
like,
8K television? Nobody.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're out there. Samsung just dropped one, but it's like nobody's
still a
going to have
new
it because
tech,
it's too
though.
expensive. Yeah, it's way
It's
too
the same
expensive.
thing with
right now.
4K. Like, people are still moving to 4K. Like, in our household, we don't have 4K anything
No, we're
because
still
it's
1080.
expensive and we're poor people. So, you know,
It's not that expensive now.
I'm a
it's
poor
not. It's
person,
going
and if I have a
down.
TV that works, I'm probably not going to replace it just because it's 4K, though, which is the same boat a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people are in this economy and everything.
I
Like, I just can't I can't justify spending it if I don't need it.
Yeah.
Yes. I will upgrade it when my shit breaks. Like when this monitor, when this thing breaks, I will probably get a 4K monitor. But I've had this one for almost
By
12
then,
years.
They'll probably be a dime a dozen.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cheaper when I have to upgrade.
Yep. It's
But
a
yes.
monitor. It's not going to be a dime a dozen, more like 100 a dozen.
Watching the Halo trailer, I will say one of the most random nostalgia triggers that I didn't realize I had until then was hearing the shields come up from the whoop. I'm like, oh my god, it's Halo! I remember that sound. Like,
It's Halo again.
It's
you
like, the
instantly are like
feels-
back in the day playing old Halo games with that noise.
I like the announcement, the announcement trailer too, but it was kind of confusing because I felt like the guy had no electricity whatsoever in the entire place,
And then he plugged them up.
and then he plugs him up, in order to boost him as well. And I'm like, it's like the opposite of what it should be. Like you're trying to wake Master Chief up, but you're also waking up the ship.
Trying to conserve power and shut off most of it.
Yeah, that's very true. And then he's like, "Oh my God, it's Chief! I'm gonna use the rest of my power to wake him up. He can rescue me." Because that's what he does. He rescues.
He rescues people. You're right.
We are gonna get out of here. I'm done. Like I know this man survives everything. That's pretty awesome. Though. I'm excited about Halo Infinite and see what they end up doing.
How did he end up in space? Oh, I didn't play 5. But...
Yeah, I didn't play it
He's
either.
chasing Cortana. There's a
That's why he has the thing in his hand, probably.
mm-hmm. Yeah, he's chasing Cortana, and basically she's got these massive guardians. You know, we always say, "Hey, you were killed by the guardians if you fell off or whatever."
Ha! They made them real.
So they made them real. They made them these huge, massive guardians or whatever, and she's in charge of those, and she's like destroying everything. So, and he's after her. So, which that was the sad part to me is he looks down and sees the empty chip where she normally is, and he puts it in the back, and I went, "Oh,
Yeah.
no!" It's like no. But yeah, I'm at least it theoretically, you know. They could have ended that entire part of the series in a book, and I didn't know about that yet. But that's the last thing I saw. That's the last thing I saw. So, just so you know.
Yeah, because in the game, the last thing is he's getting, in the 5th one, is he's getting back on the ship, and they're taking his armor off.
That's 4.
That's 4.
Is that 4?
Yeah, because that's the one that
4.
has the legendary ending where you see his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That we don't talk about because it's not real.
Yeah. I guess I don't remember what happened. Not clearly, at least.
Well, 5 was kind of one of those meh ones anyway.
Oh, yeah. I might be able to play it on the Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass right now.
Okay, cool. Then I can replay it.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass right now, and you can the multiplayer on it. They just redid a lot of stuff on it. Highly recommend. Which is funny too, because you can go through and change the settings because the settings for 5 are weird compared to the other settings. So I had to go back to 4s just so it felt normal.
I'll just wait till they release the other ones on PC.
So you're getting close for those. Reach will be the first one of those.
$10.
Yep.
All right, what else?
All right, so that's all. I don't want to misspeak on this one, but that was
that's
all of theirs.
Most of the Microsoft stuff. They did have an interview because I said last week about Fable. In an interview, somebody said, what about Fable? People were expecting it and whatnot. They're like, well, we didn't show off everything we have. We got to save some stuff for later, which means there's definitely one coming next year. It will probably release with Project Scarlet.
It probably will.
Along with Halo.
That'll be good though, because that skips an entire generation, right? Because 360.
You talk about it like going full circle. Like the original Xbox had Fable and Halo as like one of the big titles that you had. The new Xbox is gonna have Halo and Fable, probably going back to its roots as the big launch titles. We're coming full circle.
It'll have the final Gears part of that Gears trilogy too, because that's supposed to be another trilogy. So Gears 6 will probably be on Scarlet, since 5 is coming out this year.
Yep, I would agree with that. Overall grade for Xbox for their conference.
I thought they did pretty well
for presentation.
I didn't like the
one.
Gears presentation because it was kind of unfocused and like a hot mess. But
I think there were two things that were weird about that to me. First of all, you got the little shot where they took the camera and went down to the middle of the stage, and you had this weird setting that was going on and then you show 3 random dudes that are sitting down there in the bottom. So first of all, the movement down to the stage, which made no sense, and this weird electrical storm thing they had going on, and then you had 3 random guys. Nobody had a fucking clue who they were.
They were
playing
players.
Nobody knew who they were. Anyway.
Wow.
But they're down there playing. But I thought it was interesting because Microsoft has put a shit ton of money into their streaming format, which is Mixer, and they didn't have 3 of their partners in there that play maybe Gears of War or play games like that all the time to promote their own product. I guess it's good. They're not just saying, hey, here's our product. Instead, they're trying to do that. But I thought it was an interesting choice to do that. But, you know, but I don't understand why we stuck him down the bottom. But at least they didn't bring some asshat from Madden like EA did last year.
Like an esports tournament happening over there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's just do that. Because that's what I was fearful of, too. Because it's like they dropped down in there and they show these three guys. I was like, I don't want to see these guys play this game. I just don't. like, please don't. I don't.
That's a funny knee-jerk reaction, but I think a lot of people had the same feeling. Like, I don't think you were alone in that.
Yeah. No, please don't. No, don't do it. But I think it was it. I think they did really good. I think they continue to improve their conference. And I think the interesting thing is Sony's decision not to go this year. Y'all's opinion, is it indifferent? Does it really matter if Sony was there, or do you think it hurts Sony?
Like, I saw a lot of articles and like tweets from companies like GameSpot and all that stuff where it was like Sony's E3 happened and nobody noticed because they had launched, you know, all of the news and stuff right before and during, where they were tweeting out stuff and whatnot without being at the show. And it's like, I don't really, one, I wouldn't consider that their E3, and two, I think that that's them trying to sideways slide into the show without paying to be at the show, which is kind of weird, but okay, like weird flex, bro, but sure. So I don't really think it matters that they were there or not. I mean, I feel like any of the companies could take a year off of E3 and be fine with it, especially with where we're at with E3. And the fact that you can get all of that news just like what Sony did, which is just tweet it out right before or during, and it, you know, gets put in the news cycle with everything else. It's not really a loss. Yeah,
but I don't think we really heard that much about it, to be honest. Where these were, I think Twitter and other social media is just, and then you even at that point Twitch and Mixer and YouTube are going to be full of responses to the videos that they're able to actually use.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that the more like focal point of everything is going to be what's happening at E3. But I think that, like, because Sony did a lot of stuff right before, like that week before E3, we did have our show with Sony News. Because that's when they launched everything so that it would get out there and already be in the news cycle when E3 started. So it was still like they did all of the same announcements that they would have done had they been there. We just didn't have to sit through 15 hours of, you know, wood flute playing, yes.
Yes. You know.
I really don't think it matters.
Bust out the recorder.
E3 is not as big of a deal as it used to be. Which is, I feel like I said that last week too. So.
I feel a little better about it this week than I did last week. I think last week you were spot on that one. I think this week, after watching it all week, but I think after the first 3 days, once E3 hits, nobody pays attention to any of the news. It's just that Sunday, Monday, and maybe part of Tuesday that people actually pay attention to. But the rest of the week, when people are actually at the conference and doing this stuff, nobody ever pays attention to any of the announcements that go along with it. There's some that's there, you know, because they'll have interviews and stuff that they've taken place, and maybe embargoes get lifted so they can release certain things, but people are just like, okay, well, we'll check it out. All right, the next one was Bethesda, correct? They were that night?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
So with Bethesda, one that I don't think anybody really asked for, and probably didn't expect either, but it's kind of cool that they are trying to bring something back from the old days, is they announced a new Commander Keen game.
I have no idea what that is.
It's everybody says the same thing. I have no clue what that is. Just no old platforming style game, I believe is what it is. But
okay.
Yeah, ZeniMax Online Studios, which is the people that give you Elder Scrolls Online. So you talk about two different games. Are the ones that are coming back out with it. So I think we need more information on this. It was a cool little cute little cartoon that they showed us, but I think all of us want more information if you're going to get us to buy an old style
it's
game.
Free.
Like that. Is it?
It's a free to play game.
It's iOS and Android. Like, it's mobile though, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be free to play microtransaction filled garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Great.
Oh, okay. It's an old DOS game.
Yeah.
Why I never played it.
So, all right. What else Bethesda got? Bethesda owns Arcane, right?
Do they? I don't know if they own Arcane, but
They might publish for Arcane.
I think they publish for Arcane because they were the publishers behind Prey 2, which was Arcane.
Okay, I got you. Arcane is releasing a new game. They announced a new game anyway called Deathloop,
Which
which
kind of
is
neat.
it does
Yeah,
look
it is
neat.
super.
I feel like it's gonna be 2-player
interesting.
head-to-head, right? Because you play both. There's
It's
like
gotta be.
there's only 2 assassins that are left in the whole world, and they're trying to kill each other. So
Well, they're stuck in a time loop where they kill each other, and then basically the day restarts, and they have to do it again.
yeah,
I get maybe it's they have to try to escape, and only one of them can escape, and they have to try to kill. And whenever one of them dies, they just restart. I don't know. It seems crazy.
It'll be interesting to see more of the gameplay on that one and explain a little bit more about how that goes. But it's interesting because it does look like it has a decent narrative that goes along with it, based on what they're showing. So if you can give us a good narrative and still have gameplay that's similar to that, I think that would be neat. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but the same people gave us Dishonored, which had good plot line to it. So
Some of the comments say it's Arcane day one purchase, no matter what it is, because they don't make Arcane doesn't make bad games.
we used to say the same thing about a lot of things.
Bethesda was the last one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So got to be careful about that. Anything else from?
Bethesda
Other than-
announced that Fallout 76 was going to get dialogue trees, NPCs, and actual quests. So
Yeah, I think
And
it's
about-
actually
You know.
And a battle royale.
So,
Yeah,
so
battle royale.
full release game, fine.
I think it's okay. First of all, I want to. I think it's interesting that they wanted to go this route, which is nice to watch the game, like watch the world evolve, like Sea of Thieves does, where it comes out, you play it, then the world starts evolving as time goes on. Because the story behind this is now that you are out of Vault 76, you have started planting your feet in this world. Everybody was gone when you got out of the vault; like there was no people left. But now here we are, a year later.
people are moving back to
starting
the
to come
region.
back. So things are starting to change. Like the world is starting to change. But I think it was Todd Howard. What he said in an interview is it doesn't matter how a game comes out, it matters what it becomes.
I think it does
And that-
matter how it comes out. That would have been a
And that-
fine
that-
statement to make if you had launched that game in early access, but you launched it in full launch at $60. That does matter. Context changes
Yep.
that statement a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if you would have come out in early access, your foundation would have been more solid, and you could have really built upon it. But because of how absolute shit it was, and all the stuff that...
Yeah, no, the
everybody
internet
just
just went kind of lame.
Yeah, everybody just went potato.
Everybody,
Sorry,
well, you two are
Same on your
potatoes and
side.
Baka's not there, so I don't know.
Yep.
Baka's reconnecting. Hopefully it doesn't mess it up. Baka reconnect.
Maybe.
Did we lose Baka completely?
It's
I
not
guess.
there right now.
Oh, yep, we did. Okay.
He disappeared. He turned into the empty space. Sorry about that.
All right, carry on.
Let's see. What was I talking about? I completely forgot. It was Fallout 76 something.
Jump back in. You were talking about Todd Howard's statement.
Didn't I say the whole thing already?
You
though?
did say the whole thing. We were just discussing it, what it meant.
Okay, well then go ahead, discuss. I've said what my train of thought literally just went whoomp.
Awesome.
So
All good.
Like, we lose Baka and everything just derails, and now we can't do anything. This is what we are without Baka.
The whole world.
it
We're
just straight
done
up
without
fucking derailed.
Baka. We love you, Baka.
I mean, Fallout 76 is getting its DLC, and it got a battle royale, which
The battle royale on there actually looked pretty cool the way it was set up, because it looks like you have to, just like a regular battle royale, you have to get your survival gear in order to move past there. So you can, depending on where you land, depends on what you need to survive type deal. Because it actually kind of fits. I think it even fits better than Battlefield 5's Ring of Fire that they have. But theirs is kind of, theirs is nuclear based on this one, which is kind of neat. I am interested to see how that works, though. I know it was free to play this week, but I don't have Fallout 76 on my stuff, so.
Yeah, we downloaded it and played it for a few days. I played quite a bit on Xbox, and I played a little bit over here. And honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, it's a lot better. It feels a lot more active and fun when you have a partner or a couple of partners running around with you.
I think that's
but when you're by
anything
yourself,
that's a
you just
game. I feel like that's any game that's similar to that. They're like an online game like that. Because, you think of Atlas, Ark, games like that.
Right.
You kind of have to build, and you want to build a community even with, because those games with service, you want to do that. Because even with Sea of Thieves, it's hard to play Sea of Thieves by yourself. You can do it, you can have fun, but it's a lot more fun with your friends.
True.
I think.
Yeah, and I've played a lot of those games, and like Fallout 76 is more objective based, where you can kind of, it feels like you are playing a Fallout game, like, typically. And then, but since there's no NPCs or anything, it feels really, really fucking lonely, which is a nice feeling that you get, and what they want you to have. Like, this world is empty,
I definitely
except for
understand
the other
what they
people.
wanted for that.
Yeah, and having a couple of friends with, kind of moving around in close proximity, it just makes it feel much better.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a game that I would load up and play a lot on my own. I feel like if I'm going to play with my friends, then sure, I'd probably be alright with it, but I don't know if that's something that I would want to be like, oh, I'm going to put 17,000 hours in just foraging for stuff so that when my friends sign back on, I have a super cool base to show them. I don't know. Also, I filled the Bacchus space over here with his freeze frame from last week, so he's not here, but it looks like he's very excited about not being here.
That's his default
Yeah.
picture.
So,
Yay.
for everybody that's watching
Nicely
on YouTube,
done.
they saw it before you guys knew about it, but it's funny.
Unfortunately, we don't get to see that. I get giant chicken. That's what I get.
I moved myself off the side. It's just Grif over there by herself now.
Oh. I resized. I left me as the big one so I could resize it better. So,
Got you.
good. What else? Aside from our technical issues. Also, Bacchus'
think,
internet's gone because he had storms. Don't worry, we didn't, kick him off.
Yep.
Let's
But
see.
Bethesda that's all of their stuff, correct?
Is that...
I think so.
Elder Scrolls Blades is coming to the Switch, the mobile game that they had.
Yeah.
Which makes me interested in playing it now.
Yes,
Like-
definitely. It's free to play and it's cross play and everything. I'm a little more interested now. If I feel like I can try it out.
I think it works a lot easier than, and I like the fact that it does work with the motion controls. I think that's cool. Rah, rah.
The only way to
Staring
play.
at the screen.
Red could really be a cook.
The Skyrim chef rides again.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Let's go to, I guess, Square Enix.
Sure. Squeenix.
Squeenix. As we know, Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out.
Yep.
We've heard about it a couple years ago. Finally got some more information on it this time. And March 3rd, 2020 is when it's coming out. And it's going to be set up, combat's going to be set up similar to Final Fantasy 15, where you can play either way. Play
More
it to
live
where
action
it's,
style.
yeah, more live action, or you can do it to where it's the old school Final Fantasy way. We did get to see a little bit more footage on that if you go to Eurogamer's YouTube channel, and you can see where Johnny Chiodini does a video about 7 things that he's looking forward to for the game. He is not a Final Fantasy fan, and to hear him talk about it and how excited he is about it, I think is pretty cool. He said the voice acting is really good and the stuff that he has gotten to play, so if you want to see some footage of it, I'd highly recommend that. I think it's pretty nice.
Did I read that right? Hold on, I couldn't have read that right.
Couldn't have
You
read
couldn't
it.
read, you couldn't read it right?
This should read the first 2 hours of Final Fantasy. Okay. First 2 hours of Final Fantasy VII Remake launch in March of 2020, with the rest of the game to launch periodically over the following 2 years.
That's correct. So they're doing it episodic, which is going to be very interesting.
Very bad.
Yeah, they said that they wanted to make the game to where they like it was they were able to fit everything you remember from Final Fantasy VII. So if you're a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, be able to fit everything in they possibly could. So there's evidently in the original Final Fantasy VII, there's a part where you do like squats back and forth for some reason to see how many squats you can do competition.
Why
And
not?
people like that.
Yeah.
People like that part, that random shit. So that might even be in the game. So they're just trying to modernize it the best they can, but at the same time include the stuff that everybody loves. So I can kind of see it because it's probably very massive if they're trying to do that with
True,
modern
but
stuff.
that's for a game like this. I feel like that's a really poor choice because you're going to release part of the game and then not let people have the rest of it, and it's going to create a very interesting environment for people who are playing it for the first time and don't know anything versus the people who are like, ha ha ha, this is what happens at the end of it, and then they're going to start spilling spoilers in from this, second half of the game, third half of the game, and people
Don't
are gonna
disagree
be like,
with that.
well, shit, I don't. Because people will avoid spoilers till they get the game or a couple of years later, but now you have to avoid everything Final Fantasy VII because everybody's only going to have seen part of it, and people who play the original, it's going to be like, well, this is what happens in the original.
Oh, now some of the stuff is
shit.
they're going to try to keep it as real as to the original as they can, but there's going to be some stuff that has changed too because of the modern. Because of the way that they've done
It'll
it now.
just be more detailed, in my opinion.
I think so too. It'll be more detailed, but I mean that was part of the problem I had initially with this game was the fact that it was going to be that way. It might be 2 years before I play it, just because of the way it's set up.
Yeah, I really not like I was
I
saying.
don't
this at the
understand why
beginning,
you would do that.
I don't understand
not
why
for a
if you're
game
going
of this caliber.
Here's the thing: you could do it, but let's say it was 15 that you did it with. Nobody knew what the plot line was for 15 when 15 was released. So there was no possibility of being spoiled on it. You're talking about a game that's 22 years old and you're doing it episodically?
I don't understand the
Yeah.
need to tell a story like that episodically to start with. Like, I'm not a big fan, even when Telltale was doing it, I still wasn't a big fan then of the episodic gameplay. I think that that's the dumbest way to try to tell a story in an interactive media like that. Because, I mean, what's the point of it? It's not like you're trying to keep people on a subscription service where they continuously pay for the content. They're still buying the game once and playing it. Like, I don't get that ideology, and I think for something as epic as a Final Fantasy game, it's a really stupid way to try to sell it.
I don't think it would be as bad if it was like, okay, we're going to release March 2020, we're going to release the first episode, and by July, you have all the episodes. So once a month, right? Get an episode. Not quite as bad as an entire year, which is what Telltale did, but they're making this one 2 years.
Yeah, I
So you've
think
got
that's a
2 years
stupid
before the
way.
game's-
God.
I think that's a stupid way to release a story. Like, that's just garbage, and the developers probably friggin' know that, and I don't understand why you would do it.
Yeah, like if people don't know, like if the whole community together doesn't know what's going to happen, then everybody can speculate and create this,
Yeah, it'd be like
this community
the fun
where they just
discussion
kind of,
part of it.
But if everybody does, they're going to attack the places that don't know, and because the internet's a bunch of shitty people, and they're going to go after the people who don't know and try to spoil everything as much as they can because they got 2 years to do it. Spoil as many places as you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, well, that's not a very good idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know, interesting for
It's
sure.
gonna be like a war zone for sure.
One of the other games that Square Enix talked about, and this is probably the most controversial of the group, is the Crystal Dynamics, the creators of the Tomb Raider series, as the much anticipated Marvel's Avenger game, which all of the faces and everything that's on there, had we not had the cinematic universe, would not be a problem issue whatsoever. But because we have these massive universe that everyone knows and knows the faces that go along with that, they're upset because none of those faces have translated into the game at all. And so none of the likenesses have, and so they're creating a world that people aren't used to, and I'm interested to see how this goes because this probably could be an amazing game.
It's probably
got
gonna be pretty good.
It's got really good voice actors in it, so it's just kind of like I'll probably give it a shot because that doesn't bother me like it does other people. But I
feel
understand
like
why
for
it
the
bothers people.
I feel like for the people that it bothers, though, it's like you have to understand, like Robert Downey Jr. was not Iron Man to start with. Iron Man was a comic book character who had a different look than what he looks like in the movie. So you're trying to base an entire like world, universe, fiction setting on this one cinematic universe that you're familiar with, and you're upset that something that's not part of that doesn't look the same. I'm sorry. That sucks for you.
I think the difference is, and I totally agree with what you're saying, but I think the difference is, and I think this is the reason people are reacting this way, is because that cinematic universe has gone over the last 16 years, and it started with Tony Stark, and that's who they're used to as Iron Man for all this period of time, and it's so close to that. Like, if you did this 10 years from now, it probably wouldn't be a big deal, but you just had Endgame come out, and so people are looking at that part of it as, they're wanting to continue on that story.
The original Iron Man was out for 55 years before Tony Stark before Robert Downey Jr. took it up. So I mean, there are 55 years of Iron Man history before he took it up.
But I would also argue, if you look at that and you see how many comic books are sold, versus how many tickets were sold for everything that I'm going to tell you now.
It's kind of a reality check too, though. It's like, look, this is a cinematic universe. This is something different. The comic books, we've dealt with this for years already. Like, I'm sorry, get off your whiny little entitled pony. And also, you pay for the licensing on these people. I'd like to see you pony up the money to pay for Chris Hemsworth being in this game. Jeez, that's got to be astronomically expensive.
Oh, it'd be
and that's what the developers have said too. Like, because all of this backlash is like, we're not changing it. Get over it. This is we're not the cinematic universe. We're more based towards the comic universe. So get off it. Do you buy it or not? Too bad.
Well, you don't have people bitching about the damn cartoons they'll create that are the stuff that's in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, your likeness is very similar. I mean, it's not hard. Literally, dark-headed dude, goatee. That's Iron Man. Always has been. It's been Tony Stark for a long time. That's the way he looks.
Yeah, long time.
You go to Thor, long blonde hair, dressed like, a Roman soldier almost in a lot of ways, Viking basically, and then with a big hammer in his hand. The look is the exact same. It doesn't, it's just, yes, it's not the person that you're used to doing it. It's just, I understand why people are upset because it is so close to the current cinematic universe in timing. But at the same time, I also understand why Square Enix needs to move on from that and push forward. And if you want to play the game, play the game. If you don't want to play the game, don't play the game.
Yeah.
They can't change the fucking game. Like you said, if you know how you're going to do it? This is how you do it. If you want to change the way everything looks, everybody go buy the fucking game. Sell as much of it as possible, and then ask for Chris Hemsworth to do a skin. Yeah. I want a skin of him. You know what I mean?
But I mean, some of that definitely has to do with licensing. That's expensive.
And like, now they pay him a one-time fee you helped pay for because you bought the game, and you get your skin to make it look like the guy you're used to seeing.
Yep.
But it's expensive as shit.
Or
I mean, you're going to pay the guy $1 million to be in a fucking game that he's not even voicing. Somebody else will voice it. Might as well just create new characters and move on.
I can hear the counterpoint to this right now from people that have watched previous versions or previous podcasts where we were talking about the Sonic thing, and they'd be like, well, you were upset about that and you're happy that that's changing. To be fair, the people in this game don't look like Uncanny Valley atrocities that will be nothing but nightmare fuel. Sonic was friggin' nightmare fuel, and that was it. Like, it was a pure horror that some crazy person thought up to terrorize the entire planet. Like, that's it. So it is a little bit different.
But I think it's a lot different, actually, because like you were talking about the 55 years, right?
Yeah.
For the last 16, we've had certain looks for all these characters, and literally tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but let's say within a year, you're going to have a brand new game come out that looks nothing like the characters that people have known for all these years. Where Sonic's never had a movie, never had anything outside of the video game.
They had cartoons.
Okay, the cartoons that look like him, by the way.
Yeah,
except for that last
one. But you had a series of games around there. It's been a while since a newer game has been up. They've just re-released the old games last year, I think it was. And but it's been a while since we had a new game. That's the only Sonic anybody ever know. That's it. That's the only Sonic we get. So guess what? That's the only Sonic we want to know when you move it in. And digitally, fun fact, in a video game, you're creating a digital character. When you create CGI, guess what? It's a digital character. They should transfer. You know what I mean? It should be the same looking motherfucking character. Not real people to digital. You know? I mean, Jesus. Like, it's not the same. It's just not the same. Just not the same.
Oh my god, what else we got?
Okay.
Avengers is May 2020, so another spring 2020, by the way.
Yeah. So you get the in-game one May, and the next May you get the game. Let's see.
I called this one, by the way. Another Ubisoft. I called it. Ubisoft? They have announced their PC game subscription service. Uplay.
Uplay Plus. Add Plus to anything, and that's the service. That's
Uplay Plus.
Okay, first of all, you got a shit service to start with Uplay. Like, it's just absolutely garbage that completely drags down an entire PC. Then you create a service that everybody else has already got. Just make your money off the other stuff that's going on. And here's the thing. EA did this first. If everybody remembers, EA did this first. They did EA Access for $30 for an entire year. This is before they had premium. For $30 for an entire year, you could get anything in their vault. It was all access to the vault. They started off on Xbox, moved it to PC, $30. That's what it was. Do that. Give me your old shit for $30 that I can buy.
Give me your old garbage. I'll pay for it.
Then now I'll put Uplay on my system because, well, I have to anyway because all your fucking games require it. But I'll actually access it and use it, you know, and play with it because I'm like, oh, I have a reason to. I paid $30 for an entire year to access your old library that I absolutely enjoy. Oh, wait, you're coming out with a premium service like EA did?
Like and everybody else did.
$14.99 a month? Okay, cool. Don't just start out with this. Don't just start out with it. Now, I don't want your $14.99. I can't $14.99 my everything. I'm doing that for Game Pass. I did that for Premium. I
think that's what a lot of the individual companies like EA and Uplay will have to realize is everybody's already occupying the subscription space, and if you can get something like the Xbox One where you can have access to Uplay games as well, or Ubisoft games, why do you pay for the Uplay one? And the same thing goes for like EA. With EA, like we did the premium subscription service, Chicken and I did, just to play Anthem because we didn't want to commit to buying it, which was a good call on our part, I think. So we did that as like a trial thing and then canceled it. I feel like that's how a lot of these services will be. I will put this up specifically so that I can pay the $15 this month to play this game that just came out, and then I will turn it off. I feel like these are not going to be recurrent services like a lot of the other ones are.
Where I feel like Xbox on the Xbox itself, you're close to 200 games now. You've got 100 games that you're giving me on the PC. Some of them are going to be the same games, of course. Right. But you're giving me a lot more bang for my buck.
Right.
I will also say that for the Game Pass thing, it's quite a bit different than all the other subscription-based ones because since you have to pay to play multiplayer on Xbox, they go ahead and include that. They like slide it in there. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. You got to make sure you keep this up so that you could play your multiplayer games with us. So you're kind of like, okay, I'm gonna need gold anyway to play it. So you leave your gold up, and you get the games too. So you get all these two major subscriptions in one, and it's like, okay, cool. It's not just games. Like you leave it up so that you can keep playing online games, and rather than you play or EA, you just throw it up, play a game, turn it off. That's it. For Xbox, you have to leave it up because it's your Xbox Live Gold. You have to have it. So.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't see it going over real well. I think it's gonna. I think this one tanks.
I don't think it tanks. I just think that it's gonna go the same way that like EA's does, which is people will put it up when a game is coming out that they want, but they don't want to commit to buying. Like they want to try it out. They'll put it up because you get the access to the Ultimate Edition, which is the same
Yeah,
thing
which is
EA
nice.
does, which is like basically you can pay your $15 and play the super tricked out version of this game if you want, which I think is ridiculous that we have $120 versions of games now, but whatever.
Right.
Games are expensive to make.
I don't mind like spending more on games. What I'm saying is the fact that there are so many tiers that it takes you from $60 to $120. So what's in the $120 that they cut out of the $60 one that should have been included anyway? That's where I have the issue. But it doesn't matter. That's not the point. Point is $15 a month.
Is there anything from the Ubisoft other than that one that was?
Watch Dogs, you can be an old lady named Helen and tase people, and that's all I want in
Watch
life.
Dogs. Yeah, I'm really interested in Watch Dogs 3. Like, I played the first one, never really went to the second one.
I haven't played the second one yet. It's on GameFly, but I haven't played it yet.
I wonder if it's on Uplay Plus.
Probably.
It is. I wonder if it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if it's on Game Pass. But it was
might be,
on Steam
actually.
sale like 2 weeks ago for like $10. So I'm really not that worried about it. But in this one, it's set up a little different because you're not one main character where you play the whole game through as that one. You can swap to anybody that you've recruited to DedSec. So, like, the gameplay that they showed on that one, you start as this guy named Ian, and he gets into an altercation and ends up dying, and once he dies, you have to go to a screen and pick out who you're going to swap to, and they swap to an old lady named Helen, and then you play as her, and she was an old lady that tased a cop, so... I'm all about it. I think that's an interesting setup, but Red, who's a big fan of the Watch Dogs series, was not sold on that. He did not like it. He didn't like the idea of swapping to other characters and the permadeath thing.
I like the idea of meeting the different characters. I think the problem that some people have is they like the idea of staying with that one character so they can
Form
have
a
that
bond.
entire story.
Yeah.
You're forming that bond story arc, but I mean, in the little bit that we saw of Helen, I was kind of like, I kind of want to play as her.
I kind of want to play
Like,
as her, but I also know permadeath is a thing, so I'm afraid to play as her because I don't want her to die.
Right?
Do you get
Well-
to switch freely, or can you only switch when
I don't
you
know.
die?
I don't know.
That's
We
a
don't know.
major fucking question right there. It's like, are you
No, I
stuck
think
with your character?
you can swap. You can swap because there was one where the girl was one of the girls was like around a corner, sitting back and doing something, and then swap to somebody else doing something, and they had to finish doing whatever they were doing for her to continue on. So you do swap when you're on missions together, according to that video that we watched. So it was because I thought that was interesting. I think that's cool because it means they're on a mission somewhere else on another part of a city doing something, and then you have to. One of you has to finish that to complete the other.
It feels
side
more
of it.
alive and active. It's not like everything else in the outside world stops whilst I hack this computer. That's all still going.
Right.
So I understand the idea behind that. Too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like
think
the idea.
It'll be good. It'll be one to watch for sure. I get it, Watch Dogs, but it'll be one to watch come out, see how it does.
Well, and I think like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the way that was set up to where you're trying to create a brotherhood the entire time, but you were only your one character, isn't it? Right? So, so I think this is kind of creating
real
it to where
expansion on that?
really expansion on it because now you're recruiting. But you get to use those people, and you're trying to find them do specific things. This person can hack, so I need somebody who can hack. I need somebody that's a bruiser, so I need somebody to go beat somebody up. Okay, this guy can do that, So I think that's neat that you can kind of build your community the way you need
My
to.
whole Watch Dogs catalog is just going to be old people. Like, if I can recruit literally anyone in the city, I'll be like, all right, Harold, 94 years old, carries a cane. What can he do? Nothing, but I want him.
Well, you know what? The funny part about that is you think about it this way. If Harold dies, and he's 94 years old, he was getting close anyway. Right?
Terrible.
But I'd feel bad about a 25-year-old that, is like fresh out of college, knows how to hack stuff. He dies. I'm like, oh, man, really?
Well, the voice actor for your artificial intelligence that's kind of giving you your orders and everything is Owen from Anthem. So I'm all about it. He's playing a very similar role where he's like that snarky, funny, like lead in your head kind of guy. So I'm all about it. I want to play the game just for him. So, because Owen got no justice. That's all I'm saying.
Not yet. Probably
Not
never will.
yet. They're never gonna go back to that. Anyway, what else we got to talk about? Well, like the 11 billion other things
it's a
here.
Bunch of miscellaneous stuff here towards the
Okay.
end.
Well, one was part of the Square Enix one that we missed.
Which
which
one?
was going to be
One.
I have like 30,000 tabs open
Outriders,
still.
the Bulletstorm developer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my favorite part of this. The article actually says Bulletstorm developer unveils new co-op shooter Outriders, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the part that most people don't ever want to mention that this company did was Gears of War Judgment.
Yeah. Bulletstorm was really good. Judgment could have been good. It was just a hot mess.
But People Can Fly is creating a new game called Outriders, dark modern shooter with a traditional voice. I'm not really sure what that means, but
That means standard gameplay. It's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
simple.
basically it's kind of a monster killer game.
Yeah, it looks like
full
it's
of
gonna be open world monster hunter with guns kind of deal, always online kind of. Because there was 3 people. You make your own hunter person, your own outrider, I guess. So to me, it says it's gonna be kind of like Fallout 76y, or any of the other open world MMO kind of deals where it's like, all right, and you start at this base, go kill some monsters as bounty hunters or whatever, join a party if you want or don't, whatever, see you when you need money. Like,
Right.
It'll be one to watch.
I will
see
say,
how it comes out.
we really seem to have embraced, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but a lot of the trailers this year are shooty, here's my big supernatural ability that I can do, shooty. We've really embraced the whole, like, mesh up of that. I don't know if you noticed it, but there's like 3 trailers in which that's the case. They're like gunplay, magic ability, gunplay. It was in this one. It was in the 2 Assassins game, Deathloop. And it's in one of the other ones that I saw earlier. I was watching it and I was like, oh, look, that's a pattern that's happening. So that's the thing I guess we're doing right now. I don't have a problem with it.
I think it's a good. I mean, it's everybody thinks you go through certain genres, right? That become popular and then move on from there. So, 3 games that came from the PC show. I know because I watched the PC show. That's the only reason I know that, because it's not listed where it came from. The Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is getting a release date for the first quarter of 2020.
Just before the spring.
Yeah, the footage they showed of it was really neat. I recommend watching the trailer on that one. It made me want to play the first one. So I.
Although if you're planning to play it on PC, it is an Epic Store exclusive for a year.
Yeah. Yay.
Also, Epic Store exclusive Shenmue 3 is coming to PC, but is now an Epic Store exclusive, which has caused a little bit of unrest in the Shenmue community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had already... Here's the thing with that game. It got over $6 million in Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. It then got more money from Sony, so it could get the exclusivity at Sony. And it had Steam listed on its Steam keys listed for those people that backed the Kickstarter to actually get the game. And so now it's Epic's Game Store exclusive, and they told people they couldn't get their money back. Tough noogie, you're getting an Epic Store.
Yeah, you're getting a PC copy, but it will be from Epic Store, even though we told you originally it was going to be Steam. Like, you can't do that. You were crowdfunded.
I love the comment chain down here. It said, bastards, I backed this on day one, and it's $30. Includes a copy of Shenmue 3 for PC or PS4. Comment below that is like, it doesn't say it's Steam, it says PC, but they might send you a DRM free copy directly. And then the guy posts another picture that says Steam, and he's like, oh,
those were the 2 options:
damning.
PlayStation Digital Download or Steam.
And he's like, well, shit. All right.
I am interested to see if anybody challenges whether or not that's a violation of the Kickstarter rules or not.
Yeah.
Because if that's a violation, because I feel like you're not giving what people are asking for. So if that's the case, then they will have to give some of the money back if people ask for it, based on if it's a real violation or not. So that'd be interesting on how much of that $6 million goes away, because some of those pledges some of those pledges were for $10K. Yeah, they do.
No, not when you have Epic money back behind you. They probably walked in and was like, hey, you make Shenmue 3, we'll give you $50 million right here. You go ahead and finish making your game. And they're like, Kickstarter? Fuck that shit. We don't need them anymore. If we can give them all back their money, we'll just make it for you now.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Because most of the game should have already been created based on when the date is, right? because that's scheduled to release in November. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, we'll see, but I'm interested to see where this story definitely goes, because I'm telling you, somebody's going to find in that Kickstarter information that is a violation of some sort. Because if you're promising them, it is not a promise to have the game unless you buy the one to buy the game. If it says in there you get the game and it's saying Steam originally, then it should be on Steam.
Yeah, I mean, the best case scenario is they have to give out a bunch of Steam keys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you talk about making people salty, though. It's going to be like, well, shit, they got it on Steam. I can't get it on Steam. I should have... Oh, man. Ugh.
Yep. So, there you go. Yet another one. The other one, which is one that Chicken and I are definitely excited about, is Warhammer Vermintide 2 is getting a PvP versus mode. So you actually get I just want a big giant rat. I just do. I think I want to be the Rat-a-Tata, the one with the rattling gun. Yeah.
The old rattling gun. I want to be able to be a one of the armored ones, and I want to have a whole group with me. I want to just be like, hey, bitches. Just come around a corner and just smack the shit out of them.
Oh my god, I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I hate the Baka's not here.
Point out, and I kind of hate to go back on this, but my Steam was open, so I looked it up. Shenmue 3 is actually listed on Steam. You can add it to your wish list.
Yep.
Just
Probably
saying.
won't be there for much longer.
No, probably not. Anyway, carry on.
Nope. I'm interested to play this one because I think it'd be fun. But in PvP mode, that'd be neat. You can beat the Skaven or the Chaos, either way.
I want a PvP mode in which your your Twitch viewers or Mixer viewers could still participate. Be like, I would like to screw over the rat people this time.
Be kind of like shit. What's the BR game that you would play that was like that?
Darwin.
Yeah.
Darwin Project. So you could do the same thing with this, and even have like one person in charge to kind of move around and talk to them as they go around.
That'd be funny.
That would be neat. I think it'd be cool. So awesome. I think that takes us into everything in Nintendo, I believe.
There's probably more for Nintendo, but these are the ones that I found that were like a little bit more pop.
Since we talked about Epic, let's go ahead and get this one out of the way too. The former Epic Games director actually said at one point he was trying to actually cancel Fortnite. Now he left the company in 2012, so that was way before the game was there.
Actually
but he just
launched.
did not. Yeah, he was not. He didn't like the production that they had going on, what he was seeing. And of course, this is way before they even thought of a BR being an option either. But if you think about it, if they had never released Fortnite BR, he would have been absolutely in the right to cancel that game in 2012.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely in the right, because Save the World mode would not even be a thing. And they've now created a new mode in the BR version that is basically Save the World. And everything just moves together and does, it still moves in, but it's still got the zombies and everything else, and they basically made it in there. Because I saw people playing it the other day, and I'm like, what are they playing? Really? It's basically but you're just following the circle. You're staying inside the circle and moving like you would with the BR, and you're just having to kill everything as it goes and be the last ones to survive for that. And then it's different rounds. So it's and everybody's like, oh, this is so fun, this is brilliant. And I'm like, you mean the original game?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, let's move on to some Nintendo stuff. Nintendo's always a good palate cleanser.
Except for that really weird controller. So can we talk about it first, and then nothing, like everything else will be fine?
What's wrong with their controller?
That's weird.
The Horino controller?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it looks good. It's actually got a real D-pad.
It does have real D-pad. Ollie said that it eats your battery life, though.
Oh,
because of, I guess the size of it, it soaks up a lot of battery on it.
Well, that's why you use it plugged in, or bring a big-ass battery backup.
But I mean, the idea behind the Switch is you take it on the go, right? And you can play it anywhere for a great battery life and all of that stuff. So if you're having to carry a giant battery backup with you, isn't that defeating part of the purpose? The ease of play?
No,
I mean,
because everything requires power these days. I mean, Back in the day, you had a fucking Game Boy. You had to carry around a pocket full of batteries in case you're shitting out. You're gonna be like, oh god, I gotta save it before it goes off. Let's switch these batteries out. Now it's just, oh shit, where do I plug this in at? Oh god.
Now I want somebody to do a documentary on the Game Boy called Pocket Full of Batteries.
I would just like anything to be named Pocket Full of Batteries. Actually, I'll probably name the podcast this. Pocket Full of Batteries. Episode whatever, Pocket Full of Batteries.
I think it looks pretty good. I mean, probably at home it'll be a lot easier to use. It feels like looks like a full controller rather than just the Joy-Cons, which are nice. But
I like the Joy-Cons.
The Joy-Cons
I
are
just
too small for my hands.
I'm just
and
wondering.
These are perfect for you.
Yeah, like if you think they're too small for your hands, then this is perfect, except for the battery life thing. But
And it's only $35, people. Holy shit!
It's because it's third party.
It's half the price of a Pro controller.
Yeah.
That's funny. But it does make it quite wide.
Yes.
Like your hands are
like you took it from like a nice size sedan car to a limousine all of a sudden.
That's why it's called the Nintendo Switch Long Boy.
That's what you want it to be called.
The stretching Switch.
Anyway.
You'll stretch and switch.
Lord.
What else?
They talked about Pokemon, the new Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I will say the Pokemon community is being extremely vocal, along with their Japanese counterpart too. Like, because they are not putting all of the Pokemon into the game.
Yet.
So,
what if they're DLC? What if that's the plan?
No.
Oh.
They just don't have enough sprites to make it so that all of the Pokemon can be used in the game. Like, the Pokemon that you use in the Pokemon Bank, you cannot transfer into this game because they're not available in this game.
So, I mean, I guess the thought process behind that is stop making so many fucking new Pokemon.
Apparently there's over 1,000 Pokemon now.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, when with Red and Blue you had 100 and something, right? It was 108 or something. 150. All right, so you had 150 for your original set, and you continue to add every time you have a new. At some point, you're going to run out of space. So maybe maybe an alternative to this that Nintendo can't do it now because it's too late, based on when it's released. But maybe an alternative to this would have been just limit how many can be in the world, like, and so you could still, they would all still be supported, but you can only bring so many in. And then, you know what I mean? So, maybe?
I just read a comment that was, gotta catch most of them all. Like,
most of them all.
And that shouldn't be a thing. Because that's the whole point of Pokemon, right? Gotta catch them all. Except for you can't.
For the first mainline game, you'll never be able to catch them all.
Aw, it feels kind of sad when you think about it like that.
It's a little sad.
For if those that are trying to like we said earlier, we hit Baka. We ended up having technical issues on that. So Ollie, who's a big supporter of the show, is actually messaging us to ask if we're having a 5-parter right now because of how long we've been recording, trying to get Baka back and everything else. Oh, that's so great. All right. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of like Grif, though. It'd be fun if they were like, can we just do that as an expansion or something later and add them back into the game?
But then you get the argument of, look, now they're trying to charge us to put Pokemon back in the game that should have been there to start with.
Oh my god, yes. Well, I mean, they could just add it. They don't have to charge them. They don't have to charge them to just create it and put it back in there. So people have been waiting for a while for a new Animal Crossing, which is coming to the Switch. Yet another spring release, March 2020. Which this one's actually been pushed back. Originally, I think it was supposed to release in the fall.
It was November.
Yeah, it's supposed to. So there's
two.
Holiday season, we'll say. Yeah. So it's supposed to originally release in the holiday season, but which I absolutely love. Part of the reason Nintendo's not doing this is because they don't want to overwork their staff.
Yay, we like it.
Which I think is fucking awesome. So So those people that are around turn around and go, "Oh, they should know what they're getting into, and they're dealing with a big company like that. They should have to work all those hours because they know what they're getting into." Nintendo doesn't fucking do that shit because they know it puts too much stress on people to work all the time. No, it's still a fucking job. Just because you're working in video games doesn't make it any less of a job than a construction worker or an accountant or whatever. If you're working a ton of hours, it hurts your brain. You need a break from
I
it.
will say one of the moderate arguments because of the way our culture is that their crunch time, like their normal work time might be what our crunch time is, because in Japan they work a lot more excessively than we do. Like our work weeks are like 40 hours, 50 hours. Theirs are probably closer to 60, and that's regular. So their crunch time is probably just far too much. Far too much.
Yeah, but I also would argue the fact that the U.S. takes less vacations than anybody else in the world does. So
We don't decide that, though. If we could take more vacations, we would.
No, but I mean, that's the thing is everybody else has that built into their systems, including Japan has it built into the system. So yes, we might work the same amount of hours for the entire year, but they work more condensed in one particular point and have
Isn't
time
that crunch
off.
time?
Not necessarily. They might not have crunch time. Like, if that's then what you're normally used to working. If you're used to working 60 hours a day, it's not really crunch time. If you're telling
60 hours every day?
Oh, no,
How the hell are they working fucking
60
days?
hours a week. 60 hours a week.
That
Like, if
seems
you're
much
working,
more reasonable.
Time
Yeah, if
doesn't
you're
apply
working
here.
yeah, but I mean, they could be working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Where
In America, that would be crunch time.
right. But what I'm saying is, if that's part of their culture, it doesn't feel like that to them. To where here, 40 hours is our culture, and anything over that, we consider crunch time. We consider that time and a half because that's the way our system's set up. We take more. I think we work a lot of hours, but we don't take the vacations we should. And I don't know if that's just because we're like America, yeah, or if it's just that's the way our culture is built. It's just everybody's culture is different, so it might not affect them the same way it would an American.
Anyway, that means that we're getting the game just
yes.
later, which is fine.
Yeah.
And Witcher 3 is coming to the Switch. There's a big rumor around that one, and it finally came to fruition, which is pretty fucking awesome. Calling it the Switcher 3. Ha ha ha.
Don't talk to me.
And then it's gonna be a much less graphically intense game.
Obviously.
It looks okay. It looks okay enough.
It looks like a Nintendo game. I mean, it really
Pretty much,
does.
yeah.
It looks like a Nintendo game. That's what it looks like. And so if you're going into this because you're like, I really want to play this game on the go, this is the game for you. If you want to go, I want to play the best version of this game I could possibly play, do not buy the Switch version of this game. Just don't. But if you're somebody that likes to sit in bed and play video games and doesn't necessarily want to get up and hook stuff up or whatever, this is a great game to keep around. So
Absolutely.
Coming out sometime this year. Don't know when. Just sometime
Yes.
2019.
it'll probably be the holiday as well. If I had to
Yeah,
guess.
probably. And one thing that this story I'm fucking so looking forward to. Breath of the Wild is getting a full sequel on the Switch, which is pretty fucking cool. And all I have to say is Zelda has short hair.
Yeah.
Which means she will more than likely be playable.
Mm-hmm.
There's no release date or anything, so don't start asking when, because the answer is nobody knows.
I'll say 2021. I think it's 2021.
When did Breath of the Wild come out?
2017. We talked about this before.
Yeah, March 2017. We'll get it holiday season of next year.
You think 2020?
Yep, that'll give it 3.5 years because they've already got the world built. They don't have to do anything like that. All they have to do is redesign the story and update the world. Because building Breath of the
I can see
Wild
that.
took a long fucking time because they had to build everything. But now they've got it.
I can see that, but I think it'll be. I think it'll end up being March of 2021. I think it'll end up being 4 years from when the original release.
4 years. All right, I'm thinking next year.
Next year's next
holiday
year?
season. Next year, holiday season. That's when I think we'll see it.
Yep, we'll see. So it's either going to be 2021 or 2020 holiday, within 4 months of each other. So that'll work. It'd be interesting. It'd be a good release to have for holiday season for sure.
Oh hell yeah, they'd fucking
For sure.
dominate.
And as saturated as freaking spring seems to be nowadays.
Yeah, no shit.
It would. Could you imagine though if you were releasing the same day as Zelda?
Let's back up. Well, I mean,
You'd
that's what
move.
happened this past year. There was a bunch of games releasing right around the same time. It was like Anthem and like 3 other things, and they ended
It
up
was
trying to
Anthem,
spread them out a
Metro
little
Exodus,
bit.
and
Yeah.
Days Gone. No, not Days
Yeah, it was Days Gone. Days Gone ended up moving back some too.
Oh yeah, that's right. That
They
it
moved to April.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it was those 3 games. Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
They moved to April. Sure did. Allowed me to be able to play that game for a little bit, and then it got me.
Okay. Well, I think that's everything. We should probably
Yes.
wrap this up. It is an
I,
hour and 40 minutes long.
Because this took so long today, I will not have any Red Dead videos this week on YouTube because I will not have time to record them. So, I'm just saying, this gives you plenty of time. We're at like number 20 something, so go back and catch up.
And then Ollie, just listen to this 4 more times after this.
And pretend that it's
then
5
you-
parts.
And yeah, just pretend it's 5 parts. Good to go. See, we got you. No problem. We appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slanum.
Check out Chicken.
Metal League Chicken 313.
You can also check out Baka at Baka Pickle. Also, make sure that you go to Grif's YouTube channel, where yes, there's not going to be a new episode this week, but that gives you time to check out the past ones, including where she says "I'm sorry, Mr. Man," like 5 times. It's great. It's fantastic. Totally worth it. And you can build up and get to that point, and then there's one more after that, right?
There's a bunch more after that.
There
That's
you
like
go.
3 or
See,
4 back now.
Now, see, 3 or 4 back, but if you get to just that one, now you're getting closer to where
See,
she's
that
at. So
shows
start
how
now.
often Oak watches them.
I have a busy schedule too. Thank you very much. So make sure that you go through and watch Red Dead as much as you can, and her playing through it, because she's fun to watch. And watch her past stuff too. You know, her and Baka blowing each other up, all that good stuff. So that was back in the day.
It was on a different
Also,
channel.
make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313. Chicken, what do you got this week?
I have no idea. Video games. Play it by ear, like always.
Play by ear like
Awesome.
always. Are you starting back on Sundays, or are you...
Yeah, I started Sundays. It's always after LCS, whenever
Okay.
it goes off.
So usually
It's
9
around
Eastern.
7:30 Central, 8:30 Central, or Eastern, somewhere around there.
Okay.
I'm my own boss. I get to pick.
That's an exact time. I
Yeah.
like it.
I said somewhere. around
Carry
there.
on.
Also, make sure you go to mixer.com/MDB Oaktree, where you can check me out. I'm usually there just about every day of the week. Saturdays is usually the day that it's kind of iffy whether I'm there or not. But if I am there, it's usually 9 p.m. Eastern that I start, 3-4 hours. Finally, we'll be starting Spider-Man this week. So I'm excited about that one. So for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
He's Baka. He's gone.
Yeah,
Later.
he's up there going, yay.
Yay!